I've got a question for you. Have you ever been doing something with your business, thinking it was the right thing to do, and then realized maybe it wasn't such a good idea? Or have you run your business in a certain way for a while and then thought, "Mm, something's not working right. I need to figure out what it is and do it differently"? If you're like me, I've done it. I'm Nancy Becker, and I'm the Chief Flying Pig Wrangler for Business Success Unlimited. And believe me, in over 35 years of running a business, I've learned a bunch of lessons on things to do, things not to do, things maybe I could do a little better, all sorts of things. And the biggest lesson I've learned through all of that is to be open to new things, new ideas, thoughts from other people, but to understand that it's also got to be something that feels right to you. Let me start out by telling you a few stories of me and of my business. When I first started out, and for a long time, I had the idea of I was running a business. But you fill out these forms when you go to the doctor's office, when you get new insurance, different things like that. And they'll ask you questions like, who do you work for? And I would fill out Business Success Unlimited. Internally, that made me think of myself as being an employee. It did not give me the mental mindset of I'm the owner, I'm the boss, I'm the one in charge. When people would ask me, well, who do you work for? And I'd say, Business Success Unlimited. That made me think of myself as being an employee. And you know what? When you think of yourself in those terms, or you think of how you work with your business, that makes you an employee. If you think about things like you get up, you go to work in the morning, you do your job. What is it you've got to do today? You lock up at 5 o'clock at night and you go home. What's that sound like? Sounds like an employee, doesn't it? And in the beginning, oftentimes, we really do have to think that way for a little bit. But the lesson I've learned from that is that there comes a time when I have to sit back and say, okay, if my business is ever going to grow, I need to do things differently. For instance, I can't be the chief cook and bottle washer doing all of the work in the business and not doing any work on the business. I need to focus on what's going to actually make my business grow. That may be talking to people, that may be figuring out the programs, doing the Facebook Lives, all of the different things that are the front facing part of the business. And in order to do that, I had to give up some of the other things. As an example, I no longer interview potential guests for my podcast. That may be a 15-minute conversation, but if I have 10 of those a day, it takes up my entire day, with just saying, "Hi, this is what my podcast does. Let's see if you'd be a good guest or not." I don't do that. I have my assistant do that for me, and she talks to them and she can say, "Hey, I think this would be a great person for you, or maybe not so good. Why don't you pass on that?" That saves so much of my time. Yet I actually do the podcast. That is part of my job of working on the business. Thinking back, what are some of the things that you've done that you've maybe learned that you don't need to do them anymore and that it's better for somebody else to do them? If you've got any ideas or any thoughts on this, put them in the comments. Let me know what you're thinking. It's interesting to listen to what other people think and how they deal with things in their business. Another issue that I've learned from is for many, many years, I had, like so many others of us, imposter syndrome. And I would think, who am I to think I can do this work? Story many of you heard early on in this generation of my business. There was someone I knew quite well who came up to me one day and she says, "Well, just who the heck do you think you are? And why should I listen to anything you have to say? I don't see where you're anything special." Man, did that to this day hurt. But I learned from it. It wasn't a mistake I made, but it was something that I allowed to turn into a mistake I was making. And that was letting other people tell me what I should be thinking and to devalue my own worth because someone else didn't get it. It was only when I got to the point where I said, "You know what? Everybody's not for everybody. I would not want to have worked with this person anyway. And what they think of me, I can't really change. And I don't want to spend my energy on focusing on the negative and trying to get them to change their minds. I want to find the people who are the people I want to work with, who are the ones who value and see what I have to offer." And when my mindset turned to those things, then I actually began to be more comfortable talking, to be more comfortable sharing, to be more comfortable doing things like this. It's really an interesting phenomenon that we need to figure out how we're going to listen to things and what it is we allow our brains to think about. And if you spend all of your time listening to the negativity, listening to well being family and friends who say, "Why don't you just go get a job? It would be so much easier if you just went and got a job." Or, "Do you really think you can do this?" Don't listen to those naysayers. Believe in yourself. That's a wonderful bit of mindset that you need to understand and to put off the things about not being good enough. Don't let those little voices in your head tell you crap like that. If that starts to happen, tell it to go away and you're not going to listen to it. And find something that you know you're good at and remind yourself about that. "Well, I did this. I was successful at this." Doesn't have to be a big thing, it can be a little thing. Anything that you see as being a success. In a podcast this morning with someone, I was telling them about one of my most recent successes. And it had nothing to do with business, but it really did. And I'll tell you the story. We were staying at a cousin's house, last week, and they have brand new house, beautiful wooden shiny floors. They don't have their furniture yet, so the floors didn't have rugs on them or anything, and they were just sliding. And I have a hard time getting up and sitting down. And I'm sitting in this chair and I'm trying to get up, and I go to push myself up and I get halfway up and the chair slides back. So of course, what do? I fall right back into the chair. So the next time I go, okay, I'm going to brace myself better. And I try to stand up, and I put my feet wide apart instead of close together. And as I go to stand up, my stocking feet start to slide on this shiny new floor, and my feet go this way. And of course, what do? I go back down again. It took me several tries every time I sat down to be able to get back up. But it got to the point where I did it. And everybody else in the house would cheer and go, "Yay, she got up." And you know what? That was a success. And if I can take that success and say, if I can do that, I can do this other thing too. And you continue to tell yourself that you can do these things, and it's going to get all better. I told a story on my video last week about the little engine that could. And everybody picked on him and said he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. And he got so depressed. But then he said, "Dadgummit, I can do this. I think I can. I think I can. I think I can." And before long, he was right up there climbing that hill with all the big engines. And he showed him that he could do it. It's a success mindset. Do not let the bad things tear you apart. Give them nothing and think success, and that's good to go. Another thing that I think is really important, and we make mistakes with all of the time, is how we talk to ourselves and how we tell people about what it is that we do and how we do it. And I came into another group a little while ago, and they were talking about this. And what they said in this group made so much sense. And I'm going to share it with you because so often we go, "Well, I am a consultant and I sell such and such. And, it's really inexpensive and you're going to like it. And anybody who has skin can use it." And that's a mistake. People don't want to hear that. They want to hear, what of value do you have that they want? Not even what they need, but what they want. Is something that you're offering something they want? Something that's going to help them, something that's going to make things better for them? What is it? So when you give your elevator speech as being, "I do this and I do this and I do this, and it's, anybody can use it," that's a mistake. You have to figure out who it is you want to work with, why you want to work with them, and what it is you do that they want. And what this other group was saying, and I think it's really a cool exercise to do, and I highly recommend you try it, is describe your business as if you were talking to a 5-year-old. So something like, when your mommy is too tired and too frustrated because she's not getting her business to grow successfully, I help her figure out what's going to give her the most ability to allow her to have more time and energy to spend with you and to make money so that she can buy things that you need and want. A child's going to understand that. most adults will understand that and they'll go, oh, well, that's very cool. I get that. So if you can create an elevator speech that sounds like something a 5-year-old would understand, you're good to go. That's a great way to do things. Does any of this make sense? Tell me in the comments. Say, heck yeah, and think about these things and see what it is that you've been doing that maybe needs a little bit of a tweak here or there. And then if you would like to delve deeper into things like that, right now is a great time to join us in our VI Pigs program because we do all this kind of stuff in there. We talk about ideas and concepts for growing our business. We have wonderful question and answer sessions where anybody can pop in and ask a question and get answers from others who've been there and done that. And it's a super time. And it says right along the bottom there, if you're interested, go to patreon.com/Nancy Becker and you can join us in the VI Pigs program. With that, guys, I am going to say goodbye. Get out there, be productive, and soar higher. And I'll talk to you all again next Tuesday, 4 p.m. Eastern. Y'all take